Hello, BookTube, and welcome back. Well, folks, I'm going to be doing another book review for your viewing pleasure. I say book review, they're more my opinions on a book that I've just finished rather than a formal book review because I'm no professional book reviewer, dude. I'm just a humble guy meeting potatoes. And I try and keep these under 10 minutes so I'm not going on and on and on and on. Just give you the bare bones of what the book is about and what I think about it. So, what have I just read? It's a non-fiction book, and it is London Falling. If you've ever seen one of my videos, I am terrible at remembering subtitles. So, a mysterious death in the Gilded City and a family's search for truth by Patrick Radden Keefe. Now, if you don't know who Patrick Radden Keefe is, he's a renowned author for non-fiction books about the seedy underbelly of cities or government corruption. I mean, I personally think his best book is Empire of Pain. It's about the Sackler family and what they did to get their opiates on the market, and it talks about the addiction now of opiates in America. He also wrote other books, Snakehead, about an elderly Chinese grandmother who's like in charge of a human trafficking. So that's his kind of flavour of book. And this one is no different. It's pretty much going into London's underground city and sniffing out, some of the corruption that's going on. So, what's this book about? It's fairly slim. I think that's 300 pages or whatnot, and it's about a death of someone's child, and the parents like the main focus on this, and they're trying to discover why the kid died. And he's a 19-year-old kid, and he was basically leading a double life. He was lying to practically everyone. He was lying to his parents, and he was lying to the people who he got involved with. He was basically pretending to be a Russian oligarch's son in the city of London, and he died in 2019 from a fall off. Was it the Riverview building blocks? I can't remember. I think it's called the Riverview. It's on Vauxhall Bridge. If you've ever seen any of the James Bond films and the MI6 building, the bridge there is the Vauxhall Bridge, and on the other side of the MI6 building is this building. And basically, he was seen jumping off the balcony off one of these buildings into the river where he died. So it's all about uncovering what went on here, because his family didn't know that, you learn right at the start, and the start is probably the best part of the book, that the lad was a compulsive liar and a bit of a narcissist. And he reflected that in how he dealt with people, how he, his relationship with his family, and eventually getting into the criminal underbelly of London. And he met some quite dodgy characters when he was trying to make his way, grifting, trying to make it quick, trying to make it rich quick. That was his whole deal. And he got involved with some seriously ugly people. One of them, a complete, utter, again, grifter like he was, but on another scale completely, of just declaring bankruptcies and, scamming people. And another criminal who was a lot more violent. So he gets involved with these people, and then on the night of his murder, there was a lot of suspicious activity going along, as the author finds out as the story goes on. He was obviously on the balcony for a reason, and he was in the apartment at the same time as the violent criminal. The other dodgy guy was circling the blocks, obviously waiting for some time to go by before he comes back into the hotel room. So all this is going on, and he gives he gives backstories also on the two guys, the various characters' backstories and all their connections in the city of London as well. So, as I said to you before, this is very, very much from the perspective of the parents and their journey of trying to find, well, first not finding that the son is pretending to be a Russian oligarch's son, all the way to the police investigation, their troubles with Scotland Yard, and eventually the hearing, and then eventually just not finding the answers that they basically want. I'm not going to spoil the ending to you, but I pretty much made my assumptions, and I think they're correct, and I kind of agree with his statement towards the end. Now, as I said at the start of my waffling here, that I think Empire or Pain is his best work because it's a spectacular book. But this book is still fairly good. He's an immensely readable author. Even if you don't buy some of the stuff he says, you're like, okay, but I've got to keep on reading. He's that person who can hook you very easily in what he's writing. So the structure behind this book, it's pretty much, it goes backwards and forwards, and it jumps between perspective who the author is talking about. So it could be on his family. It could then jump to a link between one criminal and another criminal, then link again. So it's trying to find, this book is trying to unravel the web, right? That's what this book is trying to do. And that's the journey throughout this book, throughout the 300 pages. Immensely researched. All Patrick Radden Keefe's books are massively researched. They actually just tons and tons of research that's gone behind it, and he weaves it into an absolute great little story. Even if you read this, and I'll get to it more on my end conclusion. And let's see, now I'm nearly at 10 minutes already. That's you might not agree with what he's saying anyway, but it's an immensely readable book. So, let's just get to it now. Although I really enjoyed this book, and I plowed through it because I thought it was really, really interesting stuff. I love that kind of criminal underbelly, corruption, how rich people have unbelievable power. I was kind of like, not what is the point of this, because that sounds really harsh, but why the focus on this lad's death? Because I can't spoil the ending here, because there's so much meatier stuff, like how Russian oligarchs have operated in the city of London since the collapse of the Soviet Union, and pretty much to the Ukraine war, where the UK government started to really stamp down on Russian oligarchs, and how they've operated in the city of London throughout all those years. That to me would have made a much more, engrossing, kind of exciting book, because there's enough stories of Russian oligarchs' influence in the city of London. But he chose a rather minute, niche kind of way of looking at the city of London. And again, I'm not ragging on it, because it is still an exceptionally readable book. And even if you don't agree, like, why? You might guess at the start of this book, okay, yeah, this happened because of this, and that's the answer. There's no like JFK conspiracy behind this. But still, immensely readable, immensely enjoyable. As I said, yeah, he's got that ability just to hook you with the way he writes. It's very, very understandable. It's so readable. And as I said, he's crammed so much research into 300 pages, and you don't feel overawed. It's like, oh, I need to go lie down and have a siesta. But yeah, I'm nearly on 10 minutes now. This is a good book, and it's typical Patrick Radden Keefe. And if you like any of his books, you're going to enjoy this, because it's pretty much the same. And even if you've not read any of his books, I think it's a good entry into his books anyway. And that's it for me, folks. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye, BookTube.